In this session, I'm going to talk about Unbound Core digital asset security. Digital assets is a general term that relates to actually a number of different scenarios. Of course, it refers to cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and many other different currencies, but it also refers to tokenization of classical financial assets, and enterprises and banks are looking more and more into the digital asset world and what they can do to provide custody for their customers. One of the very important problems or features even of the blockchain world is that of irreversibility. When we think about a public blockchain, what that means is that when a transaction goes onto that blockchain, when we sign on a transaction to transfer funds, that cannot be rewound. It cannot be undone. And thinking in very direct financial terms, that means that if somebody steals your money, you can't get it back. And you need to contrast that starkly with the classic banking world, where we know that yes, if someone transfers funds, then they have to very quickly somehow get it to offshore or something, because they can actually be undone. You can trace those funds and often get them back. In a blockchain world with digital assets, you cannot, so it's irreversible. That's the first thing that I want to point out, which is an important property of these systems. And the second is that the key actually equals the funds. And what does that mean? That means that there's a cryptographic key that is associated with any digital asset. And in order to use the assets, if I want to transfer that asset to someone, I sign on a transaction saying, I am transferring this money to that person. That person actually is also a key, because the key and the funds and the entity are all actually one in the digital asset world. So if I use that key just once, then I can transfer all of the funds. And we talked in the past about key misuse, and here it's because of these two properties, it's a very, very extreme problem. So if I'm protecting $1 billion, I'm custodying $1 billion of digital assets, and they're protected by a cryptographic key, if an attacker manages to use that key just once, they can transfer the entire $1 billion to themselves. It's essentially to another address that cannot be traced. And because of the property of a blockchain, it's irreversible. There's nothing that anybody can do about it. This, again, is not a theoretical attack. It's happened multiple times in practice, and it's something that we have to be very, very careful of when we think about custodying digital assets or providing other services around digital assets to our customers as a bank or financial enterprise or anything else. And because those challenges are so unique, it means that we need new solutions in order to solve them. So once again, irreversibility, the key being the funds, means we have to have very strong protection against key misuse. Because of these two unique properties in the digital asset world, we need strong protection against key misuse, and we can't just rely on the existing solutions that organizations have. Also, because the target is so great, so we're talking about billions of dollars that could be protected by this one key and this one transaction, we have to understand that very sophisticated attackers are going to be going after this. And this has happened. Millions, hundreds of millions of dollars have been stolen in cryptocurrencies from exchanges and other organizations. Ideally, we'd want a situation where even if an attacker managed to corrupt my entire IT infrastructure, they still wouldn't be able to steal all of those funds. And that seems like a very big challenge, and indeed it is, but Unbound Core digital asset security provides a solution to that problem that's specifically tailored for use by enterprises. So organizations that want to provide a very rigorous solution for custody or other applications around digital assets, and want to be able to build out their own solution and provide those services to their customers. So what are some of the properties that we need when we talk about digital asset security for enterprises? So one is that of quorum authorization. We talked about this in general around key misuse, but in the context of digital assets, it becomes something which is even more crucial. And let's think about the sort of setup that would make sense. So we have we have a request to transfer funds. Okay, so some request comes to transfer funds, and we want to be able to quickly provide the response to that request, but we also need to be able to verify that indeed we should transfer those funds and it's a legitimate request. So a quorum authorization can be made up of a number of different entities. There can be risk-based engines. So for example, we're going to look at that request and see, does it make sense? Is the address that we're transferring to one that we're allowed to transfer? Have we done our anti-money laundering check, our know your customer check? There are many different things that we need to check before we actually transfer the funds, and all of these can actually hold pieces of the key. So all of these will actually hold pieces of the key. Not only that, we want to prevent what we call the single point of failure. We want to prevent an attacker from being able to get to any single place and do something that will break the system. So if we're doing AML, maybe we should actually have two different AML servers, and they will have different pieces of the key, and they'll both need to actually be breached in order to bypass the AML check. And by having all of these having pieces of the cryptographic key, it means that they all need to participate in order to generate the signature. On top of that, though, we can also have human approvers. And these human approvers will be using a mobile app on their phone that also contains cryptographic key material. And this can, for example, we can set up also different quorums. So we can have 2 out of 3 of one set and 1 out of 2 of another set. And they can be split between the custodian and the customer, or they could be all of the custodian, they could involve a trustee. The flexibility of Unbound solution enables you to choose and set up these quorums in any way that you like. Now, an important property of such a system with the distribution that we have, with key material being at different servers inside the organization and also being held by human approvers, that even if attacker manages to corrupt the entire IT infrastructure of the organization, there's still key material on mobile phones. And that means that and that's a different infrastructure, and that means that they won't be able to get any key material. They won't be able to, not only won't they be able to get key material, they won't be able to carry out any transaction. Because as soon as they try to transfer funds, for example, above a certain limit, then the human approvers will kick in and they have to say yes. But they know that at 3 a.m. they're not supposed to be transferring $2 billion and emptying out the entire bank's wallet, okay, and vault. So that provides a very, very strong solution in terms of the policy and a quorum approval aspect. Unbound Core's digital asset security solution provides this very, very rich ability to protect keys against obviously theft, but also key misuse. And it works for any digital asset. So it doesn't matter whether you're working with Bitcoin or Ethereum, or you're working with tokenization of a new digital asset, something which is solving a classic financial problem. They will all work in exactly the same way, which is very important for the type of setting we're talking about, which is an enterprise that needs to build out a custody solution that's going to be able to grow with the enterprise. If you as a bank are offering a custody solution to customers, you want to make sure that you can go where the market is going to go. And this is obviously this new world of digital assets and cryptocurrencies is moving very, very quickly. Something is popular today and not popular tomorrow. Something may be considered important today, but different tomorrow. You want to make sure that you have a solution that you have both control and ability to adapt in the future going on, and Unbound's solution exactly gives you that. Another important area is when we talk about blockchain or enterprise blockchain. So this can relate to many different projects. Often we're thinking about a collaborative platform that we need to build between different organizations. Different banks want to do settling. They want to do it directly without a middleman between them. And they're using an enterprise blockchain in order to do that. Here, once again, there are keys that are needed to protect the nodes that are part of the blockchain process. There are keys that are needed for signing transactions that go on the blockchain. An Unbound solution provides the same set of capabilities, also for any enterprise blockchain solutions that are being rolled out now in many cases. Another important aspect, and that's true of all of Unbound's products and of all of Unbound Core's use cases, is that the management of the keys that are used for digital asset protection and for enterprise blockchain, that's the same management console and the same system that you use for the authentication piece and for the data security piece. So once again, no different management console and different way of working for different types of solutions. You buy Unbound once, you install it once, you can use it across your organization for all your cryptographic needs, and that's a very important feature in general. The days of needing to install something new, a new point solution for every problem that you have, are days that should be long gone. We can't afford as enterprises to continue buying something new and different for each and every single problem that we want to solve. It slows us down. It becomes very expensive, both from the time of people managing all of that and also the actual purchasing. With Unbound Core, there is one solution for all of the cryptographic needs in an enterprise. For data security, for authentication, for digital assets, and within each of those, for all of the different use cases that there exist. No more point solutions with different management and different ways of working in different environments. One solution across the enterprise for all your cryptographic needs.